Hello, and welcome to another episode of 3 and 5, an educational series for hospital executives brought to you by CompleteRx. I'm your host, Senior Marketing Specialist Rachel Rom. On this month's special edition of 3 and 5, we're excited to celebrate Pharmacy Week 2021 with a special feature on women in pharmacy. I had the privilege of speaking with 5 women that have dedicated their careers to the field of pharmacy. We discussed their experiences, passions, challenges, and learned some key takeaways for the future of women in pharmacy. What inspired or led you to choose a path in pharmacy?
I think what, caused me to pursue a career in pharmacy was watching one of my older siblings. My sister is a pharmacist, and she, graduated pharmacy school, and she really enjoyed it. She would come home and kind of talk about it. And I was probably a high school senior or junior when she was finishing up her pharmacy school.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of watching her and seeing the experiences that she was having and the impact that she could have on patient care. This is going back now, almost 2 decades. It felt like, something that I was interested in and felt I could also hopefully do someday.
I got into pharmacy school when I was 17 years old. And unfortunately, that was not my decision. It was my parents' decision.
Okay.
But once I started pharmacy school, I've always loved chemistry. So I just had a handle of it. And I remember when I was in third year, they're reaching out to me and saying, "Oh, do you now want to go to med school?" I was like, "No, I love it here and I would stay." And I'm glad I made that decision.
When I was small, you would always go to the pharmacy when you were sick, and see the pharmacists like up high and doing whatever they do behind the scenes to give you medicine to make you feel better. So I was saying, oh, that sounds interesting. So I pursued it. I went to Xavier University of Louisiana in New Orleans and did my bachelor's of pharmacy.
So I decided in high school that I wanted to be a pharmacist. And I thought that I walked into a pharmacy one day and saw a pharmacist working. And I said, oh, that might be a nice job to have. And I was with my mother, and my mom said, no way, are you going to be a pharmacist? And I'm stubborn, and I dug my heels in and became a pharmacist to show her I was.
What are you most passionate about in the field of pharmacy?
So what keeps me going is making a difference, a meaningful difference in the choice of therapies, and actually seeing that the impact you make in the outcome of the patient's therapies. What really keeps me going is being in that position where I know I can meaningfully make a difference in a therapeutic outcome of a patient.
Really just helping people. I like to help. So while the whole vaccine, rollout was going on, it was how can I help the next person? What can I do to be able to get them vaccine? We only have this much amount allocated, but what can I do to be able to get the most people helped and the people that really need it? So I was racking my, talking to other people and trying to figure out the best way to be able to get the most people that needed it at that time. And so that was just trying to help as much as I can.
I think that, as pharmacists, you have an extremely, extremely valuable set of employees that I think some organizations don't tap into. I think that our pharmacists are extremely, extremely bright and extremely passionate. We're resourceful. We never really take no for an answer. And pharmacists have a lot to offer into patient care. And what I'm really excited about is I've seen the development and the growth of our services at our organization. I've seen how, our pharmacists have become involved in so many areas of care, pieces that we didn't do historically. So I think that what I enjoy about pharmacy and what I've really seen is how we're able to extend ourselves into different areas. And I think that's a learning point for a lot of organizations.
I think mostly seeing that improvement in patients when you are part of the team of like the physicians, the nurses, dietitians, and pharmacists, being a part of that interdisciplinary team. So I really enjoy that and making more of an impact in the patient's care.
What has your experience as a woman been like in the healthcare or pharmacy industry?
Actually, I think it's kind of wonderful. I think I found that depending on the organization, right? As long as there are space available for like those complementary skill sets, because let's face it, we all bring different things to the table, and sometimes men and women bring different things to the table.
Definitely.
But as long as you're in a employer that's willing to listen to those voices and make space for them, um, I haven't really had as many barriers as I know women before me have had. So I think that's pretty cool. And I think the more of us that are in those male dominated careers, the easier it gets. So hopefully just my simple presence makes it easier for the next person.
It still, has a ways to go.
Sure.
With um, with a woman being in a leading role, especially to run a department. But there's a lot of female directors out there now than there used to be. So I'm very impressed by that. And so I encourage like our students that we have, to be motivated not just to settle for just regular staff position, but keep going, do the clinical, keep rising above on what you can do, and to be successful in this career.
It's been really, really rewarding. I think that being a pharmacist is extremely valuable in the sense that, you have so many options. There's so
Yeah.
many paths and so many different ways that you can have an impact on care.
I knew that being a pharmacist as a female would be beneficial because it's a great job that you can be full-time or you can be part-time. And it's one of those things that if you want to have a family and children and you don't want to be a full-time pharmacist, you can work part-time and still make decent money. So that was kind of always in the back of my head, being a female, that it seems to be a good occupation for a female.
What advice would you offer a woman interested in or just starting out a career in pharmacy?
I want to really encourage women to get into this profession. It's a beautiful profession. And beyond the sky is the limit for the women, especially for women. It's so flexible, it's so diverse. You can do a lot. You
Yeah.
can choose to do this, and you can choose to do retail, then you change your mind, you want to do hospital, change your mind, you want to get into academia, you can change your mind, get into long-term care. You can do whatever you want to do. And I want women out there to know that you can make it. Age is never a factor.
Yeah.
You can be whoever you want, whenever you want.
Pharmacy is not today how it was, even when I started. It's challenging, and you have to be up for the challenge. It's not just counting by fives, which a lot of people think. Even in the retail world, it's different. It's a lot more than what people just see as you standing behind the counter. And so it's something that you just have to work for and care about.
When you are making decisions in your career, make those decisions based on, what's going to work well with who you are. And so the more you know yourself, the better you can position yourself. I always think about this. The times in my life that I've struggled the most, personally and professionally, have always been when I don't listen to that voice.
To be creative yourself and not to expect that your leaders will have answers for you every time. I think that it's important that individuals come up with what they would like to accomplish and then figure out how that meets the organization's goals and try to align them. I think that's very important.
It is harder, but the rewards are great.
Yeah.
And to stick to it, and go beyond what you think you can do. to be the best pharmacist that you could possibly be.
Thank you for tuning in to this month's special edition of 3 and 5. We hope you all have a wonderful pharmacy week. If you enjoyed the content, please give us a like or share, and don't forget to subscribe to our social channels to keep up with this series and much more from CompleteRx.